Smelling me some cornbread.
I love it so much.
Hello there. And welcome back to what is now... Oh,
Officially, go on and give us the big announcement.
As you can probably see on the screen if you're watching, or from the jingle you just heard, we're now called the Cornbread Podcast. Or just Cornbread.
Cornbread.
You
Yeah.
don't have to say the or podcast. You
Yeah.
can just call us Cornbread. That's who we are now.
And that is what we are.
Yeah. Spelt the normal way, not like with a K or anything weird.
100%.
And
Just
we've got-
cornbread.
Just cornbread like you'd buy in an
Like the
American
food.
bakery. Yeah.
Exactly.
10 points as well if you know where that reference is from and why we've
Yeah.
low-key
Did
gone
you
with the name.
recognise the clip from our little jingle?
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Mm.
The music was an original Callum production.
Yeah, FL Studio
Yeah.
coming in clutch. a little bit of sweet jazz.
And the voice was not Callum.
That was not me, no. That was someone much bulkier
someone
and
much-
cooler looking.
Yeah. Proper
would say.
baritone.
But yeah, we're back to video.
Yeah, we are so hoping to do this every week, I think. Is that right, Cal?
Yeah, it should be fine.
Because Cal's
Yeah.
been amazing and has
We have a
sort
little
of
portable studio.
kitted us out with all this shit that I wouldn't even know where to begin setting up. But we're here.
Yeah, we are.
Faces.
Faces and all,
You can
Yeah.
see all of us. Cornbread in the background. As it should be.
as it should be.
Yeah, but we've got the logos coming. That's all coming soon. The full
Yeah.
rebrand.
Yeah.
We are still going to be the multimedia-verse as the
The umbrella.
umbrella.
Yeah.
We've got
Corporation.
Cornbread. Cornbread is the podcast.
Yeah.
Goober Wand is the gaming streams.
That's the Twitch. Yeah.
You know, maybe next year we'll give you something a bit different. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see, I guess.
Mm.
See where the wind takes
Oh,
us.
and by now, when you're watching this, by now when they're watching this, the website will also be up because we will have rebranded.
The website should
So
be
the
up.
website should be launched.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, so
And
we'll
there will
put
be
that
articles.
with the post.
Articles wrote by, maybe all of us.
Yeah.
I'm definitely planning on writing some articles. Joe's looking
Oh,
like he's probably
don't
not
plan
going to
on
write some articles. I kind of figure it might be the case.
Few reviews.
I want worded reviews of every episode of Twin Peaks.
Just
Just
feel one word, like...
Yeah, what's the WTF?
What is this?
Yeah, fair. I think that's probably. That's probably all you can say anyway.
Yeah.
You wait to season 3, mate.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
We'll be alright, we'll be alright.
So we're gonna go on with some stuff. Should we talk about some things
We
first?
can do.
Some
Yeah.
Things.
Well, PS5 Pro
Oh yeah, that was announced.
kind of been announced,
Mm.
and the Switch 2 got leaked.
Yeah.
Seen this?
Yeah,
So
I
let's
saw
start
that.
with the PS5
I
Pro.
haven't seen that.
Oh,
it's-
really?
Yeah,
You'll
it's
be
only like
intrigued.
it's not like an official leak,
Yeah.
but it's pretty certain
It's kind
it is
of,
a leak.
yeah.
Right.
Let's start with the PS5 Pro.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Fuck
What
it,
the
fuck
fuck?
off, Sony.
Yeah, just what have you done?
So one episode we've had fuck off, fucking what's his name, Guy Ritchie. Now we've got
Yeah,
fuck
yeah.
off Sony.
Fuck off Sony PlayStation.
Sony put in there. But the thing is, Sony have had hit miss. That's what they keep doing.
Yeah,
Because
It's
there was
true.
at least like a week ago, Astro Bot came out to like amazing reviews.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
And then
true.
like 2 days later, they're like, hey,
yeah.
PS5
yeah,
Pro.
yeah.
£700.
I really want to
Pro.
play Astro Bot. It looks really
It looks
good.
great. I love the
Yeah.
little mini one from the beginning of PS5 as
Yeah.
well.
I planned
So
it
fun.
this week.
Oh, did you?
Oh, really?
Oh, well, the one that
Yeah.
came through the PS5.
Mm.
It's good, isn't it?
It's
Yeah.
a real fun platinum.
Yeah, apparently the VR one is really good as well, but I've not played
Yeah,
that.
I
But
played
yeah.
a bit of it on PS4 VR, like the original
Mm.
one when they first made it.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that. But yeah, £700. And it's cheeky, isn't it? Because it's $700 and it's £700. So there's
There's
no
no currency thing.
going down.
No.
It's not like £650 or something
No,
like that.
Exactly.
Fuck you,
yeah.
Sony.
Fuck you.
That and like it was actually you pointed out. I had seen it, didn't even clock the fact it didn't have the disc tray as
No
well.
fucking
And I
disc
was
tray.
like, that's
What the
insane
absolute
too.
shit. So if you pay £700 for a console, if you
Yeah.
want it discs, you have to pay another £80
That's
for a
another
fucking
£8.
disc drive.
And then you're pushing $1,000 for
Yeah.
a console, which is
With
a
like
bit
Which
much.
for something-
£70 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, which isn't playing anything different to what you've probably already got. It's just a better graphics.
No exclusives.
You got to think, like, if someone wants to entry level get in with a PS5 Pro now, and they want a disc drive and a game and an extra controller, that is over £1,000.
I just
That's
don't,
insanity.
I don't think a PS5 Pro particularly needed.
Oh no.
But the thing is,
The difference is
had
in-
they launched it at 500, I think I'd have got it.
Yeah.
yeah, if
By
it's
the time I
cheaper,
traded in
it'd be
mine,
okay.
bit of save, couple hundred
But
quid, but
It's not needed though, is it? Like
No.
you see the difference
Mm.
that it's actually made in like
Mm.
the clips. It's like okay, it's a tiny fractionally bit better.
Yeah.
It's not worth the £300.
I was saying recently, I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was talking to someone and saying, like, I feel like in general with gaming, we've kind of peaked in terms of like graphical fidelity.
Peak
Because
days
like
ago.
4K is just about as best as you're going to get your eyes to see, really. Like you can do 8K, but it still just looks
Yeah,
a little bit better.
Get an 8K TV as well.
That's
And
it,
this is
right?
the thing, is that I think, sorry, you might have just touched upon that, but I phased out for a sec thinking about 8K and its glory. But actually, there comes a point where your eyes just cannot see any
No,
better.
Exactly, yeah. Like
You
it's
know
like,
what I mean?
what's the point at
Yeah.
some point, you know?
Yeah.
How much more fine can your detail get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it's just creating.
Unless they
stuff
they
that
need to
isn't there.
have retina scans on your eyeballs to improve your vision.
Mm.
Only Legolas can see at that fucking
Yeah, that's it.
clarity.
Pinpoint. I think the only good thing I've seen about the Pro is obviously like the GPU. I think renders almost half faster.
It's
Yeah.
better ray tracing and frame rate.
Yeah,
system,
as
isn't
well.
it?
So
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that's going to be different is, when you go into PS5 games now, you often get the choice of like, do you want like performance mode or like graphical fidelity? And, like now you can choose that graphics mode without that kind of packet loss and like the janky terms.
Yeah, you basically just do both, don't you?
Yeah, it's just like having
You have your cake
real
and eat it,
big
but the cake's fucking
GPU.
bankrupted you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cake is just expensive.
Gold.
That's some
Exactly.
fucking mad ass cake.
It was
But
a pretty sad announcement overall, and it looks a bit ugly. I don't like the black ring around the middle.
No.
It's like
Have you
it's
seen
sleek.
the 30th anniversary colour?
I saw that. Yeah,
Well, they're going to release November.
What,
yeah.
for just a normal PS5?
It's a P. It
Yeah,
looks.
well,
It's
PS5 Pro and.
but it looks like PS1.
Oh, okay.
Like
Like they did
grey
the
with the
PS4.
colours,
Oh.
yeah.
And they've got like the
Nice.
DualSense portable one.
Port
Which is
PlayStation
really-
Portable.
Oh, this,
yeah.
yeah,
They've
yeah.
got that in grey.
That's cool.
Is that what it's called? No, it's not called PlayStation Portable.
Yeah,
That's the PSP.
Portal.
Portal, isn't it?
Portal, not
Yeah.
portable. Portal.
Yeah,
So it's still kind of PSP.
basically.
Pretty basically.
Yeah.
It just is.
PlayStation Portal.
Yeah,
They just
except
cut some words out
except
there.
Yeah, they
PS5
changed a few
Lite.
bits. but
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a bit of a kick in the old teeth, I think.
I would say so. Yeah,
But then the Switch 2 leaks look pretty cool.
does look pretty
So I
sick.
don't know what.
So it's looking like it. I kind of expected this. I think they're saying that docked it should output at 4K.
No,
Hundred
You're kind of
100%.
expecting it to be.
Yeah.
They have the internal storage is like 256 gigabyte, which is pretty good. So
Solid.
it's more than you need for the Switch. I would
Yeah,
say.
they're very low memory games.
And the biggest thing I would say noticeable difference is that the Joy-Cons aren't sliding; they're magnetic.
Oh.
So they like lock on, and then I don't know how it's gonna be safe. You're like playing a bit of aggressive Mario Kart, and the fucking
Yeah,
like
that's
screen
not-
pops out
yeah.
the middle. But maybe there's some kind of
Button to make
button
it
that once they're
harder.
magnetic,
Yeah, I
they're
don't
like
know.
locking or something. I don't know. We'll see.
I feel like it's probably just to try and make them less breakable by like snapping or coming off the hinge.
Yeah,
but,
I
like,
did. To be fair,
you know.
my Switch, I accidentally, I don't know if I did or someone did, put the little like black Joy-Con strap on, but put it on the wrong way.
Oh yeah, and
And
then
it
it's
got
just
stuck
stuck.
as fuck. It was a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done it.
It did. It was a fucking pain in the ass to get off.
Yeah.
And it isn't. I mean, it is obvious which way they should go on, but
The amount of switches we used to get at the shop as well, where like one Joy-Con would just like be so slidey
Yeah.
because it's just been taken out so
as long
much.
as they fix the drift issue,
Drift is the big
drift was the
problem,
big
yeah.
ass fucking problem.
That was almost it was just guaranteed you were going to have it at some point, which is sad, really.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I'm down for a new.
But
Switch.
yeah, it looks cool. I'm looking forward to. I think they were saying that they're expecting like a new mainline Mario game to sort of come, not at launch, but shortly after
What's
it.
it been? 7 years since Odyssey?
Since Odyssey,
It's
yeah.
so long. That's weird to think about, you know.
Yeah, we've had like, in terms of mainline, we haven't had like full 3D ones. We've had Mario Wonder and we've had the remakes and stuff.
3D All-Stars.
But Wonder was amazing, to be fair, but Odyssey is fucking cracking.
Yeah, they need another 3D, don't they? I fully.
I would love like an Odyssey 2.
Odyssey 2, yeah.
That's all they would need, and it would sell so well.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they're relying on, it to be the console seller.
Yeah.
Obviously,
yeah,
they've always
for sure.
got Mario Kart.
Well, they're
they've always got
I
Smash.
think they're launching it with Pokemon Arceus ZA or something like that.
Yeah, it's
Sorry, Pokemon Legends ZA.
Legends ZA, that's the one. Yeah,
So
it's
that's
like
based
the
off
open
of
world
the
kind of thing.
6th generation.
Well, that's all the Pokemon fans as well. Then.
Yeah.
buying it.
Oh yeah,
Fighting
100%.
over getting
Just
Switches.
yeah, literally, it's like
It'll probably be one of
you know
the
they won't
hardest
put it on
launches.
Switch.
No. The only thing I request is backwards compatibility for my Switch games, which I'm assuming it will, but I will be fucking pissed off if I can't play
Yeah, like all the carts.
Switch games, yeah.
That's the main issue with Nintendo, isn't it? Is they change form factor with every fucking console.
Yeah, that's the problem, is like it's really hard to go back and play certain games now. Yeah, basically as soon as they brought out the Wii, and then also the DS with having 2 screens,
Yeah.
it's so hard to port some of those fucking experiences across now
It is
and
now,
play
yeah.
them effectively. But yeah, they've done some good work. Like Skyward Sword obviously did it, but like it's just
Mario
not feasible.
Galaxy
Mario Galaxy. But have you played it, Mario Galaxy? It's a bit weird with the like analog stick to like collect the gems, isn't it?
Well, you can still.
You flick them, don't you? I can't really remember what.
You can still use a Joy-Con as a nunchuck.
I just use the Pro Controller.
Well, yeah, that's your problem then.
Yeah, but you can't aim at the screen. On Mario Galaxy, you used to have to aim at the screen to grab the.
You do that with the Joy-Con.
But you tilt it. But they can't aim.
Yeah, they can.
No, they can't because there's no sense bar on the TV.
It's got infrared on the back. Gyroscope.
Yeah, so whilst I'm saying it like tilts, so it like works out where you're going based off the tilt.
It still does it good enough. It's not like.
I need to give it another go.
That was such a passionate discussion of.
Yeah. It tilts. Yeah. I know, and that's the thing is I love, but I didn't include. I really love Mario Galaxy 2 as well, and I'm sad that
that was a banger.
Yeah, but I have got a Wii. I could just play it on the Wii, but.
To be fair, Switch started doing the like digital kind of old classics, didn't they? Like PlayStation did a little bit, where you can play like really old games.
So.
Yeah, but it's not the same, is it?
No, they've got Game Boy Advance and stuff on there now. As well,
yeah, I want the old Pokemon games though. I want to play Red and Gold in their original ugly glory.
I think they just withhold it because they know they can just sell a remaster at some point, like Brilliant Diamond and that. Yeah, but interesting leaks though.
Yeah, and then Xbox are just chilling.
Yeah, they're doing fine.
They're
probably on top.
Well, you say that, but they've launched a few of their games and they're not selling that well on their consoles because at this point the main fan base they've got are people playing COD and Fortnite.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So a lot of people haven't gone to Xbox to play single player games. So it's like Starfield.
Yeah.
Didn't sell as well as they thought it was going to sell.
Hard because of how bad it was in the end.
And it's because the audience is not there for single player games.
Yeah.
It's on PlayStation, so that's why they're bringing out Doom. They're bringing out Indiana Jones is going to be on PlayStation, which is a big play because they could just say "fuck you, Sony. I'm going to keep a huge release on our console," but they're not going to because it's not going to sell that well.
It's clever though. I think they're doing it like Indiana's like 6 months later, isn't it? On
yeah,
so
yeah.
Like, they have that little like exclusivity period, but they still get the money from the other console.
Yeah.
I really want to play that one. That looks good.
Yeah, I've heard it randomly. I heard it plays like the old Chronicles of Riddick game, but Butcher Bay or whatever it's called, Escape from Butcher Bay.
Yeah, I've played it.
So I read a thing on IGN. They were like it plays really similarly to that.
That's dope.
It's not like a PS2 game.
Yeah, apparently it's really good. But I was like, they were like, it's like the revival. No one thought was going to connect in that way.
Right.
Yeah, we'll see. Because maybe like Dishonored team, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I think it's Arcane. Maybe I'm not sure.
You guys see as well. Oh, you shared it. Let's bring up the Naughty Dog TikTok.
Oh yeah.
That could be meaning something.
Why has nothing come from that yet?
I know.
Oh,
they've been posting other stuff since on it, but it's just been like, oh, there's a sale on Uncharted.
If they
if
they said PS5 Pro, right, £700
exclusive,
we're launching it with the Jak and Daxter trilogy remaster, but you can only put it on PS5 Pro, I'd just be like, fuck it, fuck you, take my money, you bastards.
Would you rather a new? Would you not rather like a new game?
I'd rather a new one. I'd
like
love
a sequel.
new one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because you can play the old ones on PS Plus.
Yeah. I've played the old ones to death.
I think they need to do. I think what Ratchet and Clank did, where they like fully do a full like remake remaster.
I just don't know if they will.
The
thing is with games is they're a bit different to like films. So I'm going to talk about it a bit later. But like you look at Beetlejuice. It's sold quite well in the cinema. But a film is so much more accessible than an old game is. Yeah. So if you look at a gaming audience, if they release Jak and Daxter 4, which would be fucking amazing,
that'd be big.
How many people under, let's say our age, you know, who are playing PS2, you were a bit as well, will actually buy that game? Probably not that many, because it's not relevant to them. They haven't played the other 3 games that came out 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit unsure whether gaming doesn't quite pull the nostalgia the financial nostalgia as well as films
sequels.
do.
Yeah.
It's
probably why we see so many remasters.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to sell that.
Yeah. I mean, Silent Hill are kind of doing it with Silent Hill 2, where they're being like, here's a remaster, and then we're going to release loads of shit afterwards. So we'll see.
But to be fair, Ratchet and Clank, I guess, did that too, because they did their remaster and then Rift Apart.
Yeah.
Could see that, maybe. Like a full precursor trilogy remaster, then.
But because they did
like
they did the remaster of the first game, didn't they?
Yeah, like Ratchet 1. That was like 2016 or something.
2016.
Which I was sad because
Yeah.
it didn't have all the levels in.
Still very good.
It's still
It
amazing.
looks
I still
like
loved it. It looks
beautiful.
amazing, but
Yeah.
I was a bit like, where are all
Yeah,
the
where's the
levels?
rest?
Yeah, it was a bit strange.
Yeah. Curious though. It'd be cool to see if they do anything with it. They wouldn't have shared it for no reason. Like, it's got to be something coming.
I fucking hope so.
They wouldn't just do that.
Yeah.
They know it would get people like riled up for it. You
The
know?
last over crossover we never thought would happen.
Jax just jumps through a portal.
Yeah. Punches Abby in the face. Like, why did you do this? Cool.
Cool.
Should we move on to some
Yeah.
Roundup stuff.
Woody's
I'm
roundup?
going to pull up my list because I really got bad brain fog
It
today.
is time to pull up the list.
The cornbread.
You just made the list.
Who wants to kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind.
Go on then, Cal.
Take it away, Ernie.
Right, where's the right list? There it is. Let's do. I spoke about that last time. Let's do this one. So I watched.
So much like you're unprepared.
I am very unprepared. I
Because
was
it's
so
over here
prepared
for
with the
one
new
thing.
setup. I was doing all this little like camera stuff. I forgot what I watched. I watched a film called Jackpot, which is
The John Cena.
yeah, it's on
And Awkwafina? John
Yeah.
Cena,
Awkwafina.
Awkwafina.
Yeah, we have a few people pop up. There's like the dude from Shang-Chi. I forget his name.
Simu
Yeah, he's in it. It's like the kind of
I
villain.
think that's how you say his name.
I
Something
think so.
like
I
that,
would
yeah.
assume so. Sorry if it's
Close
wrong.
enough. Sorry if you're listening, Simu.
But yeah, it's kind of like it's almost like a parody of The Purge. So it's the whole thing is like Awkwafina is trying to make it in LA as an actor, and then she gets there, she gets a lottery ticket just by accident, like someone buys her one. But the concept of the whole film is if you win the lottery when you're in the confines of LA, it'll be announced on everyone else's ticket as like a little hologram that you're the person that's won. And if someone kills you within 24 hours, they get the jackpot, not
Oh,
you.
okay.
And then you've got to survive for 24
So it's like an
hours.
action comedy?
Yeah. And it's very Purge-like because of that, like, 24
Yeah.
hours of crime is legal, but it's just like a daft kind of different premise of it. But John Cena plays kind of like a bodyguard for hire, and his job is basically, if you're the jackpot winner, I'm going to come and find you and protect you if you pay me X% of the jackpot if I keep you alive. But he's like a bit of like he's kind of a really good action hero in it, but he's also like a wetty. Like he's really, really just like girly and strange and emotional. But he's also beating the shit out of everyone, and there's really action with him. It's
I
mostly
feel like
okay.
he's been in so much
He has,
this year,
you know.
hasn't he? Have you noticed it?
The
And he's been in
past couple
so
years.
fucking
A
much.
lot of
Yeah.
crime stuff as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just loads of films, just everywhere he's been this year, which is cool. But I don't know if all of it's, but like Ricky Snicky,
That was
The
right.
Bear,
Yeah. He
Jackpot.
popped up in Barbie even.
Barbie,
Mm.
just everywhere.
But all the stuff he's in is, other than Ricky Stenicki and now there's Jackpot, they're kind of just minor things, aren't
Yeah,
they? Like the
but
Bear-
he's still the
massive.
lead in them. Like
the
he's
the
still-
Bear is not the lead.
No, but the films.
Yeah, Ricky Stenicki and
Yeah.
Jackpot. Yeah.
I just feel like he's been in a lot of films where he's leading. I'm like, where the fuck does this man find all the time?
Yeah. He must just work so fucking much and so hard.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of different IPs as well. Like say like Prime, and then like he's got so many different studios that he's in. He's probably just a real nice guy.
W.
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
just one of the Hollywood like
Sweethearts.
lovable kind of rogues.
He's got the record for the most Make-A-Wish.
There we go.
Oh,
I feel like the WWE,
yeah.
like, even The Rock is kind of similar, isn't he? In that kind
And
of
Dave
sense.
Bautista, I think, is
Yeah,
like, well, yeah.
the WWE guys come from a good place. I
I
think
get
from that
dick
era.
vibes off The Rock.
I think he's just
I reckon-
so big, isn't he?
I don't know about dick, but definitely ego.
Yeah.
Well, I think he knows he's big, and he doesn't carry himself the same anymore.
Oh yeah.
Whereas John's a bit more like,
Yeah. He knows
Seems
how
a bit-
big he is for the rest.
yeah, but he's very humble, isn't he?
Yeah, because he knows he's not like an amazing actor.
A
as
little
well.
hustle and respect.
I love John Cena.
Yeah.
If you're listening.
There you go. Thanks,
He's behind you.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, he is good. I mean, I still think my best thing I think he's still done is Suicide Squad.
Oh,
I just feel like he's so
It's
good as
such a good role for
Peacemaker.
him. Because he did a lot before that, obviously, but I feel like that was the role for me where he kind of switched into like, he's a good actor.
Yeah.
Like, he found his niche.
Yeah. I was only ever doing like WWE stuff.
Yeah,
before,
like
the
the
Yeah, 'cause
Marine.
he's in, like that kind of action.
12 rounds.
Yeah, Bumblebee. I think he's one of those ones that people realise he was funny. But I think it happened with like Dave Bautista with Guardians of the Galaxy. Someone clocked that he's actually really funny,
Yeah.
and now
Right.
it's been a bit overused
Dave
maybe.
Bautista's
But
also a good actor as well.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, it really
He's
is.
like
Yeah.
Blade Runner and Dune now as
Mm.
well.
I'd also
he's good in the.
As crap as they were, John was actually really good in the Fast and Furious films as well.
Mm.
Because he turns up as Dom Toretto's brother, and it was like, yeah, fine.
He's always someone's brother, isn't he?
Family.
He really is. Yeah. He's all of our brothers, really. If you think about it.
Adam and Eve.
But yeah, Jackpot's good though.
Yeah.
I would say it does lack a little bit of depth, but you can imagine it probably would.
Is Awkwafina alright in it? Again, she's one that fucking appears.
She is technically the lead. Like she's the winner. They try and tie in kind of like weird subplots of, you know, like, oh yeah, like my mum passed away and she always wanted me to make it and now I'm famous because and they try and kind of tie in these bits and it's a bit cheesy, but I think they do it somewhat self-aware, but it's also some parts of it aren't and it's just a bit cringe, especially like there's a few moments with John Cena where I'm like, oh bless you, do you know what I mean? It's like, that's kind of a bit weird, bro. But the action's really good actually, there's some really good fight scenes, particularly with him and Simu Liu. If we're saying that right.
Who knows?
Cindy Lou.
Cindy Lou.
Yeah.
Cindy Looper.
And yeah, there's just some good moments. I would say it's probably like a 7 out of 10. I'd say if you want like a really like a chill film with some food just in the background.
Better than you'd expect.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Good casual viewing one evening. Yeah.
Spot on.
That's Jackpot.
Nice.
On Prime.
Jackpot.
Very cool.
Yeah, it was alright. It was alright.
Do you want to go or shall I go?
I can go.
You go.
So I've got 3 films.
3 films?
Yep. Which
Wow.
I'll cover now. Which are the Fistful of Dollars trilogy.
Oh,
Jesus.
interesting.
Starting
What
off
are these
with-
on?
These were on Prime. I don't know if they still are on Prime.
And you watched these quite recently, have you?
All within the last couple of weeks.
Oh, fair play.
So I watched A Fistful of Dollars, which is the worst one, but only because it's the first one.
Yeah, I've heard they get better and better.
They basically, essentially. It's just a very classic Western. If I'm remembering it right, there's like this bounty that's out, and he wants to do this job for him. He's like, right, first this, this amount of money.
For a fistful of
Do
dollars.
do everything for the right amount of money. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like the most memorable.
All 3 of them are Sergio Leone, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, and all Clint Eastwood.
Mm.
I think it's got at least the last 2 have literally got like the same cast. Just obviously playing different characters. But yeah, I've not got loads to say about A Fistful of Dollars. It was a good Western.
Standard kind of.
Yeah, it didn't really like blow you away, but it's still a solid watch. So I give it an 8.
Mm-hmm.
For a few dollars more.
I never knew this was a trilogy. By the way.
Yeah, neither did I until fairly recently. It was much better. I feel like the story was a bit more cohesive. It was like slightly more updated. You could tell like the shots were a bit nicer, the camera looked a bit better. General overall quality leap. I gave that an 8.5 out of 10.
Oh, it's ticking up.
Get up.
It is ticking up. And then Good, the Bad, the Ugly is just like it blows everything that we've just watched in the first 2 films completely out of the water.
Do you have to watch the first 2 films to watch
No.
The Good, the Bad and the
No,
Ugly?
'cause they're all just cowboy films.
So no, they're not really related.
No, but the fact that you can see like kind of the journey that Sergio Leone takes as well as...
Because I don't love a Western, but obviously The Good, the Bad and the Ugly is a very famed Western, so I
unreal.
kind of want to watch it. But
Yeah, I've heard
At
of
least
that.
watch for a few dollars more.
I'd probably just watch all 3 at some point,
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
fair.
'cause
but
they're both all good watches.
Mm.
Like, I'm not a massive Western person, but I was able to watch them all and enjoy them. But The Good, the Bad, the Ugly is just, it is iconic from the get-go. It's like it introduces you separately to the good, the bad and the ugly. It doesn't name the characters, but that's all you need to go off them. And like how they get introduced is just like, you can just tell their character from that little 2-minute, 5-minute.
Yeah, I love
clip.
that about a film when they just get it
It's
so
just, yeah,
that you know the character
exactly.
so quickly.
It's like,
from,
okay,
like-
so this is our good guy.
Yeah.
And obviously they're good guys, Clint
Yeah.
Eastwood. But essentially, the way the film is, their paths keep crossing accidentally, but it's all at the end for this final ultimate goal. So there's like a missing grave. There's a treasure buried in a grave.
Yeah.
And no one knows exactly where it is. So the good guy knows the name of the grave, but he doesn't know what cemetery it's in.
Mm.
The ugly guy knows the cemetery, but he doesn't know the grave.
Yeah.
And then there's the bad as well. But it just takes you on like this roller coaster. Cause it's not just a western, but it's almost like a Civil War piece as well. Right. There's like a massive battle. They've got really ambitious set pieces with like the explosions and massive war scenes coming over a big battle, and it's just so good. Some of the shots.
I don't think I've ever seen a Sergio Leone film.
No, neither have I.
Because he does Once Upon a Time in America, which is a bit of a classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who did? No, I'm thinking of Brian De Palma. Go
on. But yeah, and it just kind of the tension shots in it are just great. It's like all the moments where it's like, like gunslinging, standoff kind of like moment. It's the fucking score as well. It's such a good score. It feels so unique to it, and it feels like a proper western.
Yeah.
You can hear the music and you'd be like, that's a cowboy.
Yeah.
It's like fully.
What would you give it?
I'll give it a 10.
No.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, good to try that.
I have to give that a watch.
I think
flawless.
I think my favourite traditional western I've watched, and I watched it with youngest dad used to watch, is probably Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
Right.
Kid.
Fair play.
That's quite a classic one. But I haven't seen that many that I really remember.
I haven't seen enough of like the big
Yeah.
the big classics.
My favourite one is Unforgiven, which I'm going to get you guys to watch. But that's like an anti-western. Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Fair.
Fine.
Tombstone's really good.
It's good. And you like Tombstone.
Yeah, that's a banger.
Yeah. Cool.
Shout out to what was it called? How Do They Fall as well.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was a brilliant modern
For
one.
modern cat, that is like, that's a fucking good film.
I'd love to see more films like that.
The Mule meant to be quite good as well. That's another
I've heard
Clint
of that.
Eastwood one.
Yeah, I've heard of that. That's more recent, isn't it?
More recent, yeah.
Not sure. I haven't seen it.
No.
I have no idea anything about it. I watched one with Tom Hanks the other day called News of the World, which is kind of like set in that time.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't too bad. It was a little bit forgettable, but it was alright. But yeah. Anyway. Cool. Well, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
I'm keen to watch them then if they're that good. At least they all sound good. The last one sounds good.
Not that it's a serious western, but I am really excited to eventually do Outlaw Johnny Black, like the Black Dynamite.
Oh yeah, the western one.
It's like a western piss take.
What's it called again?
Outlaw Johnny Black.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah. We'll
Dynamite.
Dynamite. Yeah. That was so good. Cool. Right. Well, I'm gonna. I've got a few things I could talk about, but I'm gonna start with a new release of Beetlejuice.
Nice.
What
are they going to do for the third one now?
Yeah.
They fucked themselves.
I reckon they might call it Beetlejuice. Don't say it.
Yeah.
Rubbish.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a fucking writer.
Yeah, come on. Get better.
All right. You think of a better name by the time I get to the end of my review. That's your challenge now. You fucking dropping that shit.
Beetlejuice squared.
Anyway, Beetlejuice. So. A long-standing sequel to the original. Have you both seen it?
Yep.
Yeah. So that you know what happens. What I like about the original Beetlejuice is this very small-scale story, isn't it? Like it's quite unique in the terms of it's a haunted house story, but they can't successfully haunt anyone. No one really cares that they're there, and it's humorous. It's got some really funny bits and that. This puts almost too much plot in it, of plot that no one would really care about. It's at the start you basically kind of get introduced to the big bad guy or bad girl, as in Monica Bellucci's character, who's a soul sucker, and she basically kills dead people by like banishing them and sucking their soul out. Quite an interesting entrance into the world. But and then you basically don't see her for the rest of the film until she appears at the end as the big bad guy. It's bizarre. It's like
interesting.
It's a bit weird. And then there's like another bit where someone else is a bad guy, and then you have like another bit where someone else is also kind of a bad guy. Like, it's a bit weird. Basically, the film should just be called Beetlejuice and the Bad Couples, because all of these like villains are like exes or current spouses of like the main characters.
Right.
Of the three Beetlejuice. Winona Ryder from obviously the original has come forward, and Jenna Ortega. Just that all the characters that they meet are just kind of go out with are awful, and it's a bit weird that there's like three couples where one side of it is like predominantly like a bad guy.
Yeah.
But Justin Theroux in it, who I love, who's in American Psycho and The Leftovers, he's really funny in it. Michael Keaton comes back as Beetlejuice.
Nice,
again,
of course.
pretty funny. Not as good as the original for two reasons. One, he's older. He's not quite as like, hey, like
bouncy.
Bouncy, just a bit strange. I feel like he probably just ad-libbed most of Beetlejuice's like weirdness back in the day, and they just got so lucky with him. And then in this one, because it's made in a modern age, he is nowhere near as creepy as he is in the original Beetlejuice. And that is such a part of his, like, charm is not the right word, but he's so funny to watch, and he's just so pervy.
Like goofy, isn't he?
Yeah, like this goofy, pervy, fucking lovable, grotesque human. But he's not pervy in the story. He makes one little, like, joke about, because the soul sucker is his ex-wife, and then Willem Dafoe in it is in it, and he's quite funny, and he's like, yeah, she's a soul sucker, and he's like, you're telling me, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, but that's like about it. Otherwise, there's not really a lot of crudeness in it, which is a bit of a shame, because I really enjoyed that aspect of it, but it's dated. I get it why it doesn't happen as much anymore.
Can't have any horny jokes anymore.
No, not when it's like old men perving on fucking old dead men perving on fucking 25-year-old girls. I kind of get it, but that was just such a big part of the charm of the original Beetlejuice for me. But they did quite a funny way of dealing with the facts. So I think we spoke about the Beetlejuice, the guy that was a paedophile in real life.
Oh yeah.
So he is technically in it, but basically he dies straight away. But they do his whole how he dies in claymation.
Right.
So he's like there, and then they go through his death, and then you see his dead body in the afterlife, and basically he's got no head. So it's just like a random person who can kind of speak through their like vocal cords which are sticking out the top. But the cast is all still really good. Like Catherine O'Hara, I just love. I love her in anything.
She's looking old now.
She is, yes. But she's kind of brought for. I mean, she's so good in Beetlejuice, but she's kind of brought a bit of her like Schitt's Creek Moira into this, and she's just so dramatic over the most ridiculous things. But I think that is something she's really nailed over the years. But yeah, it was fine. It was kind of forgettable in a good way, in a way that if I watched it again, I'd probably enjoy it again for what it is. But the plot is pointless. It's all a bit scattered with that kind of side of things. And Beetlejuice being toned down meant that it didn't fully fulfill my Beetlejuice craving after watching the first one the other day. I will mention, which it might seem odd for Tim Burton films of a modern age, he was quite known for quite good shots in his films. I feel like that kind of faded out over time. There's some really nice shots in this film, like slow stills. There's a really good shot of like Jenna Ortega with one of the characters in like a treehouse, and it's like autumn. The sun's shining through a crack. There's like autumn leaves everywhere. There's leaves all over the grass, bits of grass. It just looked really good, and I don't tend to pick apart many shots in Tim Burton films, so I think you can see he's tried with this one, as opposed to some of his recent efforts where he's just whatever.
Or maybe he's just got a different DOP.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So he gives a shit.
Yeah,
true.
he could, but it was alright. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Fair.
It's better than some of the shit I've watched this year in terms of like belated sequels and other sequels. Miles better than Ghostbusters Afterlife. Afterlife, Frozen Empire, sorry. Miles. But yeah, no. So what's your title then, Joe?
Beetlejuice.
Fuck off.
Well, you know how they spell it different.
No. Just as bad, sorry to say.
Beetlejuice.
Go home.
Oh, it's better than yours.
It's better than ours. Yeah, it's a work in progress.
You win, pal. Well done.
Thanks.
Is that the name of the episode? Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Oh man.
No, I can't think of any. It's quite a hard one.
It is a bit weird.
Alec Baldwin on it.
Alec Baldwin and no Gina Davis.
No, they both. What do they explain what happens to their characters, or is it just like?
Yes.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, but in like a.
In the claymation way, or?
No, they just kind of tell them.
It
is weird that
the
the fucking actor who was a paedophile's character gets honoured more than they do, to be honest.
Alec Baldwin accidentally killed someone.
Yeah.
You know, you can't hold that against him.
No. But I think, do you know what? I read something about this, because I actually didn't understand why he was getting...
All the flack.
Yeah. But I do understand why he's getting the flack now. It wasn't because he was the one that pulled the trigger, and it wasn't because he was involved directly with the armory. It's because he's a producer on the film. So all of the producers are having a similar amount of flack. It's just that Alec Baldwin was directly involved.
Yeah.
And he's the face of it, isn't he?
Yeah.
No one cares about the other producers, but he is getting sued because he is the producer and would have been one of the people in charge of making sure they had the right armour and all that kind of thing. But I didn't realise that because I was like, it's not his fault. He thought he was firing a prop gun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like, why the fuck is he being sued? But actually, it's because of that side of it.
But yeah,
people love a conspiracy these days as well, don't they?
It's like ruining probably one of the decent actors still. He doesn't seem like that much of a piece of shit.
No.
Alec Baldwin.
He's been a bit on and off, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He's funny. He's had the he's very famously called his daughter a pig, didn't he? Have you seen the clip? There's you can access it, but there's like a leaked voicemail where he called his daughter a fucking disgusting pig or something like that.
I thought that was such an Alec Baldwin thing.
Yeah, it was. And this is the daughter he called Ireland, which is fucking enough cruelty, isn't it?
Have you seen the roast of Alec Baldwin?
Yeah.
That was a really good one, to be fair.
I think the Rob Lowe one's my favourite.
There's some cracking jokes there.
And James Franco.
Yeah.
Is so good because there's so many of the funny guys there.
Yeah, why have you heard the voicemails that got leaked from Mel Gibson?
No.
Some of these are quite bad, aren't they?
They are, but they're fucking hilarious. Because he's like, I don't know, he's just like he's just dialed up to like 11.
Yeah.
He seems like he's on coke, he's just like fucking freaking out.
Yeah.
That like, it's like so ridiculous. It's like, do you know what the fuck I am? So you should be sucking me up before I go to bed or something like that.
Jesus Christ.
Basically.
I love that. That's such a fucking A-list fucking Hollywood shit to say.
After we
isn't it?
finish this, I'm going to find
voicemails.
and honestly, they are
the Tom
fucking
Cruise one
hilarious.
from a couple of years ago was quite tame, but that was quite a good one where he was shouting at the people that were talking to each other during COVID.
Yeah.
But he fucking was going off on one, wasn't
But
he?
he's a psycho anyway.
He's
He
a
is
bit
a
of a
bit.
weird guy.
I love Tom Cruise.
Yeah, he's a good actor, but...
I don't know if I'd want to sit down in a room with him. And
No, I don't think I have any desire to meet that man.
try and
I don't know really.
Scientology on us.
I reckon he'd be quite interested to talk about movies.
Yeah.
Because he's quite passionate about
Especially
that.
like the stunts and stuff he
He's
does.
spanned over a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like since the 80s he's been appearing and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, because Top Gun was 78.
No,
Is that right?
80s.
Maybe like one or two, I think.
If there's like you got like Rain Man and
Yeah,
stuff.
maybe it wasn't quite
Last
70s.
Samurai,
Yeah.
like 90s.
Mm.
He's been in loads,
Jerry
to be
Maguire.
fair. Yeah.
Eyes
Jerry
Wide Shut.
Maguire.
He's had quite a constant set of films, though. He's not really ever had like a big gap.
Yeah. No, he's done very well.
Always consistent.
Consistent
Because
career.
he's got them de-aging properties from all the
from all
organs
the
and stores he's
Scientology.
buying.
All the books he's selling.
He's probably like level 80 now at least.
Yeah, man.
He's got to be up there.
He's going to be in space soon, isn't he?
Yeah.
They are talking about making a film that actually has scenes in space.
It'll be
with him
Mission
in it.
Impossible.
Yeah, but I don't know if
That'll
they've
be
already
That'll be
filmed.
the impossible mission.
Yeah.
It'll be like, do it in space with no suit on.
With no, no
He's like,
suit.
"Oh, I'll
I'm,
do it."
I'm just going to say, though, Fast and Furious did it first.
Yeah.
It's
They've
true.
got-
He took the car to space. I think I just need to see that clip.
You should. It's just they kind of know it's dumb,
Yeah.
but like it's just so dumb
Yeah.
because it's like ludicrous up there too, which is even stupider.
It's
Luda.
It's ludicrous. They've gone to space. Oh dear. Anyway, cool. Cow.
Yeah. So now, have I? Yeah, I have now. What was
Fucking
that?
fireworks over there.
I feel like I just
Sorry.
summoned that with my form.
Random.
Yeah. So I have now completed, because of my reroll and I did Final Fantasy, I've completed my 3-2-1.
Oh, wow.
Oh, he's done
I've
it.
done it.
The
I've
first
watched.
to do it.
I've watched Metropolis,
Nice.
which was like insane, by the way.
Is it like a really long one?
2.5. It's pretty long,
Mm.
and it's kind of. I don't know how much you guys know about it, but it was made in 1927, and a lot of the footage got like lost and like wasn't ever really put into a film properly then.
It's like the OG sci-fi film,
It
isn't
really
it?
is, yeah. People often refer to this
But then
as,
it's
for anyone
also-
that doesn't know, it's kind of like the pioneering film of any sci-fi,
Yeah.
basically. Like the earliest examples of someone trying to make that as a film. But yeah, like they basically reconstructed all of these clips in 2010, I think. which is why it's now been released on like Blu-ray and stuff. You can actually, funnily enough, after all of this time wondering how I could watch it, you can watch it on Wikipedia on the page for Metropolis. It's just online, which is cool, and it's got all of the like captions that they've put at the bottom to explain what the scene was, because some of it is so like bizarre and jarring, and a little bit unclear at times.
It's foreign as well, isn't it? It's
German,
yeah. Fritz Lang.
But yeah, it's insane. There's some really, it's so impressive how he, even back then, created this kind of like really dystopian world. The beginning is like, the whole concept is like, you've got like the rich that are up in these like technologically advanced skyscrapers, and then underneath the city, a bunch of people that are just workers that are like powering these machines that keep the city running. And that's the kind of like cipher of it, and there's some very like machina people. But it's also some weird stuff like they all know the rich dude that owns the city is the father, all the workers are the sons, and they're kind of just like, they almost act like, they're not like identical, but they almost act like they're just like a clone or like a robot, even though these workers are like human. But have you guys ever seen, like, the best way to describe it, have you seen like the video from Pink Floyd's Another Brick in the Wall, where all the kids like marching down the hallways? Or it's almost similarly like akin to when you would see like, I know this sounds really dark, but when you see like footage of like the Holocaust, where they're just like putting people in, and it
brainwashed.
Yeah, it's like absolutely like non-human anymore. It opens with a lot of long scenes like that, where they're just marching down these like tunnels and I don't know how they got some of the shots as well, because they have almost like Star Wars level big planetary buildings that they're shooting really high up. It looks like almost like a big kind of like Russian embassy. It's insane. There's some great shots. But yeah, the actual sci-fi of it all is really good. There's some good plot too. It kind of deals with, for the most part, the big rich guy ends up sort of like being really enamored by this woman that brings some of the poor workers up to see how the rich dude's living, and he's kind of like exercising in his like lavish like land in his skyscraper, and then they all just sort of watching him, but he's like enamored by her, and then ends up going down underground and seeing what it's like as the workers, and he ends up seeing like, they have some crazy scenes where like one of the machines like explodes and kills a bunch of them, and he's like almost, because he looks very emotionless, he's almost learning, kind of similar to how like you'd imagine like an AI would learn how to be a human and how to feel. It's a little bit like that. But yeah, crazy. Like the fact that this was done like 20s, like 1920s, is insanity. I like the kind of creativity of that. And
what is the big robot thing?
It's hard to explain. Like that you have, it's so hard to explain. Like the whole city is kind of, in essence, a robot on its own.
Oh, okay.
In a weird way, they're kind of powering almost like the heart of this machine. It's really like high concept sci-fi for something so early.
Was it difficult to watch?
I would say it's not digestible.
No.
You very much have to. I was sitting there, and thank fuck it had the captions explaining what it was, because some of it I was like, what does this mean? But it talks you through like, oh, this was presumed. The thing is as well is it's so like no one really knows. So some of the captions would even be like, we assume that this is, and it's so interpretable for what you'd want to say.
Open for interpretation.
That's the kind of gist I got, and those bits are quite clear. I'm definitely missing probably like so much more high concept bits that are in it. But the through line was mostly that. It's kind of just like a city being powered by people. It's like the poor rich, and like the rich being. It was interesting because I guess back then, the biggest thing that you'd think of when you think of the future and like tech is just robots and lots of money, and that's kind of the image he presented for like the rich and the future. And then the poor was basically still kind of just like the industrial age just coming about, like, oh, let's go shovel coal into these furnaces. So it kind of feels like you're watching, well, you are like you're literally watching a sci-fi from the perspective of someone who had no idea what anything technologically advanced like we know of now is like. So for that, it's really interesting.
It's almost a 100-year-old film.
Legit, like it. It is. In like 3 years, it is. So yeah, I'd recommend watching it if you love sci-fi. I think it's probably the best way to recommend it. I would say if you're not massively into sci-fi, don't bother. But if you do appreciate sci-fi and like Blade Runner or Star Wars, any of the big greats, you'll see a lot of shots and a lot of like stuff that you can just tell has been.
Blade Runner's like literally lifted.
Yeah, just
actual
most of
shots
it
from
Exactly, it's so similar. I like to say like the buildings look. It's like shots from Star Wars. It's insane. You can see where people have like gotten some really early influence from.
It sounds kind of similar to Brazil as well, that I talked about.
That's the Terry Gilliam one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've never watched that. I need to watch it.
Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Give it a little watch. But it's I can. It's like triggering little images in my head.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know though. I don't know how to rate it. I would say like for how I felt afterwards and how I was like, oh, that was interesting. It's almost like going to a museum of film.
Yeah.
For 2 hours. It felt like I had an 8 out of 10 experience with it. But if I were to rate it, I just can't. It's not a film really. It felt almost like watching.
It's like art.
I know this is what a movie is on the tin, but it literally felt like just watching photographs, but they're moving.
I feel like
it was just weird.
It's one of those things where it's because of how old it is, and it doesn't matter whether it's actually good or bad. It's the fact that it's like one of the pioneering.
Yeah, it exists. Yeah,
because it's there, it has to.
Yeah, nothing that we have now would have existed unless it was for this one piece.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, it probably isn't like the best thing anymore.
No.
It's 100 years old, but it's the ambitiousness and what it actually achieved.
100%. It definitely gives that vibe of like, oh, this is just interesting.
Nice.
But yeah, I'd recommend giving it a pop.
Cool.
Quite cool.
Cool.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1 done.
Well done.
I
Congratulations.
did it this year, even though I kind of cheated.
Winner, chicken dinner.
You only re-rolled once.
Yeah.
That's within
Just for the
the
game.
capabilities. So you did Braveheart, Metropolis,
and oh shit. Oh, what was the third film this year? I know I did it, but I can't remember what it was.
And then your game was
I did
Final Fantasy re-rolled for
15, which I re-rolled from Red Dead, and the shows I did in between as extras.
Nice.
This is where I haven't done it. I definitely remember talking about both, but I can't remember what the first film was. I watched it right at the beginning of the year.
Cool.
Yeah.
Joe.
So I rewatched another trilogy actually.
Oh,
That's been
So
on
I
smoke.
watched fully, start to end, the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
This is your first time, like,
So I'd
nice.
seen Batman Begins maybe about 15 years ago.
yeah.
Yeah,
Seen Dark Knight multiple times.
Yeah.
of course. You got it.
Classic. But I've never properly watched Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, okay.
I quite like Rises.
So I like Batman Begins.
It was good, isn't
I think Cillian Murphy's Scarecrow is a really good casting.
Yeah,
He's just like that kind of. I don't know. I love Cillian Murphy, but he just always seems like you wouldn't be comfortable if you're alone with him.
He has a freaky look.
Yeah.
Even in the job.
He's a good character, though, isn't he?
It's like looking at glass almost, and it just kind of throws you off a bit.
Yeah.
But him as Jonathan Crane, I think it just works excellently. And then also, I think the Ra's al Ghul bit's a bit like, okay, cool. We see how he becomes as Batman and all that, but then I feel like we kind of focused on the wrong person as villain.
Yeah.
It's like we can kind of get like an eerie vibe off him at the start.
Yeah.
But him coming back at the end doesn't have anywhere near as much weight as Jonathan Crane poisoning the whole water supply.
It's hard with Ra's al Ghul because he's always been that manipulator behind the scenes.
On the post.
And I think they've always, any story that's been told with him have really struggled to like get him right. And I think they do a good job, not like a perfect job.
No, exactly. Dark Knight, it just gets better every time I watch it.
I'm seeing it in the cinema on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Which obviously you're both more than welcome to come to put it in the chat. But it's sad.
Yeah.
But is it like the blockbuster of like the modern age?
I think it could.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
it could be
if you said Jurassic Park had the 90s, and you said
Spider-Man
Jaws had the 70s, and Spider-Man had the noughties. Spider-Man 2, mate.
Yeah. I don't know if I could decide between Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight.
Dark Knight's
I think Dark Knight is more.
It's
better, but in terms of personal preference,
Spider-Man 2 is banging, and I do absolutely love Spider-Man 2, and it has all the ingredients of like a classic superhero film. But I just think what they achieved with The Dark Knight elevate. Yeah, I'd agree, but I think that there's almost like a different level of perfect. The Dark Knight is so embodied by every essence of that film.
I feel like it all stems down to whether as a kid you preferred Batman or Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's a very Marvel DC.
But I did prefer, but it kind of went with my puberty because I literally was like, a young boy when Spider-Man 2 came out. How old would I have been?
Well,
You would have been.
Turned 1 the first year it came out.
Yeah, fuck off. So I was like 7 or 8. And so I grew up with them as a kid, and then when I started like getting, you know, the bum fluff on the beard and all that, and then Batman came out and I was like, oh yeah, I'm edgy. And then by the time I finished puberty, I watched Watchmen and done full transition.
I suppose, because when the Dark Knight came out for me,
you'd have been young.
I'd have been like 7 years old. So I watched it, but I didn't fully understand it.
I don't think I've ever had a moment in a film, a couple, where I've literally gone like this, like fuck, when he slams that guy's head down onto the pen.
Yeah.
So unexpected. And I think I was with a couple of friends, I was like, fuck.
Like, Jesus.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that is mad.
I'm still blown away by the practical effects for it.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, yeah.
It's
he was so bold.
The flip, isn't it?
The fucking 18-wheeler.
Yeah.
Upside down. Yeah. Oh, you missed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking so
He's such
good.
a nuts director.
I'm so excited to see it
Knight
again
is
in the
cool.
cinema.
Yeah.
But Dark Knight Rises, it's alright.
I like it more than most.
It's the weakest of the 3, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like when it first came out, everyone was like, oh, it's a bad Batman film.
Yeah.
It's not bad, it's just not as good as Batman Begins or Dark Knight.
No, it's more like Batman Begins, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it feels almost more Batman-y.
I feel like Bane works well as a villain as well. Because he's like this absolute crux to everything that Batman isn't.
Yeah.
But then they just get rid of him so easily. It's like,
he is dispatched, isn't he? Yeah.
We think he's finally like overcome him. Talia al Ghul's actually the bad guy. Connects his mask back up, and Catwoman just comes in and shoots him.
Oh yeah.
And it's like
with the bat
bat bite. It's like, what was the point?
Yeah.
Why didn't they have like an actual sick fight? Like,
They do, but it gets a little bit overshadowed. I have problems with that last scene because that fight, if you listen really carefully, is really hot and heavy between them when they're like, and he's going fucking mad and he pops out the pillar.
It's tactical
but
as well, isn't
the
it?
score is so loud, it completely overwhelms the scene. And there were complaints about it when the film came out, being like, the score swallows everything up. And for me, the score is amazing, but it takes me out of that scene because I want to hear them fucking grunting and going at it. Do you know what I mean? And you can't hear that very well.
That's true. Just when you think he's been beaten, but he's coming back. It's like, oh well, what are they going to do now?
Yeah.
I think it just really dampens it by having Anne Hathaway coming in a skin tight suit and
I do like her in it.
She's
good as a Catwoman in it. I think I have an issue with it's a really the trilogy's been really grounded at this point. Not really no mysticism, like it's a very grounded trilogy. And then we're expected to believe that Bane broke Batman's back and then he recovered by being hung on a bit of cloth in a cave. It's a bit strange. Too much of a stretch. It's mind and body broken. I get that's what they were going for, but like a broken back, that is just not.
I think as well that happens in one of the comics, isn't it?
Yeah,
he
does. That's the iconic shot of him breaking his back. But it works fine in the comics because Bane in the comics is pumped up with venom and he's huge, and you can kind of because the trilogy's so realistic. It's really hard to buy into the fact that he would recover in that way.
I think if Christopher Nolan hadn't have had that as what happened, that all the Batman fans would have had a go at him.
Yeah.
So you can't advocate.
You can't have it. Yeah.
But
maybe I don't know. But it was. But I'm not saying that the moment shouldn't have happened. But I just think they maybe should have explored something better way of not. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. I think the other issue is like just like no matter what they did with Rises, like you're following Dark Knight.
Yeah.
So
also
tough.
How the fuck did he survive that nuke at the end?
That's fair.
There's no way.
He wasn't in the chopper.
He must have been.
No, because he has that bit with Lucius where he says, "Oh, I got the autopilot fixed."
Yeah.
So he's not in the chopper.
He is, isn't he?
No.
He goes and rescues someone just before.
Yeah, he's not in it. That's how he survives it.
They don't show him getting out of
they
it.
talk about it. No, they don't show him getting out of it. You only see him. Basically, he's done it so that everyone believes he's dead. And then you see him at the end with Alfred sees him in his dream. Or not in his dream, but like
Florence.
where he wanted him to see him. So there's a bit earlier in the film where Lucius Fox says, "Oh, but the autopilot's broken." And then right at the end...
It was never...
he said
this was fixed ages ago.
This was fixed. Yeah, someone must have fixed this. And Batman fixed it to then run off with Selena Kyle.
Oh, okay.
That's what happened, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, he didn't just like
He just
fuck you, nuclear blast. Like I'm Batman.
Where is she?
Where is she? I fucking love that. But yeah.
So let me rate them. I give Batman Begins an 8.
Yeah, fair.
I give The Dark Knight a 9.5.
You can fuck off.
I give The Dark Knight Rises also an 8.
So for me, it's 9, 10, 8.
I think I'm 9, 10, 8. I reckon.
I don't think Batman Begins is 9 worthy.
I think
like it a lot.
I think in
like
essence
it.
it's a really well made Batman film.
I think I definitely preferred it on rewatches too.
The Dark
honestly.
Knight, if I had to be super hypercritical, it could almost work just as well if it wasn't a Batman film, because
it's just
it's
bad
more
guy
about
and a
army
good guy.
militant Batman running around Gotham being like a fucking vigilante.
Just a mercenary.
He's not that Batman-y. He kind of looks like Batman and acts like Batman. He's not quite as the Matt Reeves Batman with Paul Dano and all of that.
Yeah,
that is a
like,
much more Batman-y film than the trilogy that Christopher Nolan did.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Fun little admission. When I first ever watched Dark Knight as a kid, I turned it off because I was a bit scared.
But it is scary.
It's a bit
Heath
dark,
Ledger's performance is unreal.
It's really,
I
really
think
crazy.
That's what might make me lose that 0.5. Is it's an iconic role, but it just feels cringy now.
Do you think it feels cringy?
Yeah,
I
because
watch it.
It's like the impression that everyone wants to be able to do, so they always do the Joker voice.
Yeah.
And it just ruins it.
Yeah.
And then you can't just.
So you're saying
you
the
can't
fans
help
have ruined it more than the actual film?
Yeah.
I think the legacy coming from that film has been huge. You obviously had so many Jokers since then. But no one really tops for me. I mean, Joaquin Phoenix did a fucking good job as Joker, but it's
different.
It doesn't need. Again,
Yeah.
it's kind of like it doesn't need to be called Joker. That would just be a really good film in its own right
Just
if
some
it
crazy
wasn't
dude.
about him being the Joker.
Yeah, for sure.
And Mark Hamill doing his iconic voice work.
Yeah.
Those are but Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill are like the pillars of that.
It's basically anyone but Jared Leto.
Yeah, Jared Leto. Fuck me. Fucking Jared Leto.
But I think it is just cringe people ruining it.
It's so
like
often done. Is it
retrospect.
like Halloween every year? You'll see someone.
Yeah.
like,
I did it.
It's like
Everyone's done it. That's the thing.
the Joker beatbox thing. that
Oh,
people
bro.
do.
Shout out to the Tommy Wiseau clip.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to know how it goes? It's just like, shut up.
Yeah, that's great.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to seeing it in the cinema this weekend.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro.
I watched Rogue One in the cinema weekend just
Ooh.
gone. I'm not going to review it, but it's
Brilliant.
still fucking so epic.
I
And
can
when Darth
imagine.
Vader turns at the end, it still sends fucking shivers.
That's one of the best lighting scenes like of all time in sci-fi.
Oh,
It's so well lit.
it makes me so fucking hard for Star Wars.
It
when I
gives you
watch that
full
fucking
body
shit,
like that
honestly.
goosebump. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
like it's that breathing and then the fucking extension of the light stay where I'm like, oh,
the glow.
so good.
Insane.
R.I.P. James Earl Jones. Fucking.
Oh,
yeah, no.
Fucking.
No,
I cannot believe
that's the
that
name of the
man has
episode
gone.
because he deserves
Okay,
it.
so I'm just going to talk about this very quickly, and then I'm going to talk about a film, and then we'll call it a night, right? Would you say that what James Earl Jones did with Darth Vader is like the most iconic voice work of all time?
Yeah.
Has
It's
to
up
be.
there, yeah. I can't
Surely.
think of
Breath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a breath.
That's
That's
the
all
thing,
you need,
right?
and you know it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Everything he says in it with such baritone and pathos, but also empathy, and you can hear the
Wisdom.
confliction in his heart, but also the knowledge that everything is just so it's so
pretty
iconic,
perfect,
isn't
it?
I feel like it set the bar for
He's the greatest villain in any form of media.
yeah. Everything about him is just perfect.
And like you say, everything he says, like basically every Darth Vader line
Yeah.
is quotable.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? From
And then you
anywhere.
almost come back 20 years later and he did Mufasa in The
Yeah.
Lion King. And he's not even in that. If you watch The Lion King, he ain't in that film very much. And it is so
Doesn't need to be.
famous, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
What a voice.
Everything the light touches.
Everything, yeah.
Simba.
Yeah. He's just, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get too soppy on it,
Also,
but
did you ever see the clip of him in Fences? When he was like, do you remember
I
that?
haven't seen Fences.
So
That's the Denzel Washington one, isn't
It was
it?
based on a play though. And
Yeah.
Originally, James Earl Jones.
Germs.
I don't know what-
James Earl Germs.
James Earl Jones' character is who Denzel plays in the remake.
Oh, so he did the live.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and there's a great clip of like an excerpt from it, and he's just like you might have heard, but it's like, oh, who say I gotta like you?
Yeah.
He's talking to his son. It's like, I do all this because I'm your dad, not because I like you.
That's the scene that was showed as the trailer for the film, wasn't it? Yeah.
So if you ever get a moment, look that up because
he's so good. Yeah. He's got a very famous monologue in the Field of Dreams as well, hasn't he? The baseball film, but yeah.
Build it and they all come.
Cool. Well, anyway, sorry, slight tangent there, but I'm going to talk about Kinds of Kindness. So,
new Yorgos Lanthimos.
The new Yorgos Lanthimos film is available on Disney Plus,
nice.
And
kind of come out to a bit of no reception.
Critically did quite well,
yeah,
but I don't think anyone can't imagine that anyone saw it.
No.
To be fair, I can't imagine it cost that much to make, bar paying the actors.
Right.
And it is also a very strange film to try and market. Now I'll explain a little bit why. So I haven't seen the films that you've seen. So you've seen Killing of the Sacred Deer, have you?
Yeah.
And you haven't seen Dogtooth? And have you seen The Lobster?
No.
Fine. So what I read was, I really like Poor Things. I think Poor Things is still the favourite thing I've seen of his, and I've seen The Favourite.
I've seen The Favourite.
Yeah, Favourite's good. Watch Poor Things, honestly, it's so good. But this is what's been described to me as more like his older works before The Favourite, where it's definitely less commercial. Because I feel like he really nailed that arty commercial balance with those two films, especially Poor Things. But this film is 3 stories. It's like an anthology film. 3 stories, all with the same actors playing different characters. Right? I really liked the first story. The first story, Jesse Plemons basically is a character. He's married, and Willem Dafoe basically plays like his owner almost, and he basically controls every aspect of his life. To the point where he's basically telling him he needs to get in a car crash with this person who's willing to be in the car crash, and he needs to drive fast enough that he kills him, right? But Jesse Plemons is like, nah, man, don't want to do that. It's too far. So Willem Dafoe basically disavows him, doesn't have anything to do with him anymore, and his wife leaves him, and everything goes wrong. And then what follows is like scenes of him like going to a bar, and he's like, I don't know what to have, because his whole life has been lived for him. And he does things that don't fit the situation which he's been told previously to do by Willem Dafoe, because he doesn't have any idea how to live his life. That was a really interesting little tale. I really liked that story. The way it kind of spiraled.
How much independent does someone actually have?
Yeah, exactly. And he kind of then, it spirals. It's good. It's a good story. And then I watched the second story. The second story I didn't like as much. It's kind of about skinwalkers. This like weird thing, and his wife. Jesse Plemons is a copper, and his wife Emma Stone basically she disappeared on a boat trip, something like that. She was an oceanographer or something like that, and then she comes back and she loves chocolate, and she never liked chocolate before, and then like she tries to put her shoes on, but her shoes don't fit, and he's like, I don't think that's my wife, but he starts to go a bit nuts. Everyone around him goes a bit nuts. They're in like a weird 4-way fuckfest with like 2 other people that have been appearing, and it's a bit weird. I didn't love it. She feeds him his finger at one point. It's bizarre. It's a really strange story. I couldn't quite gel with that one, but it was fine. And then the third story, excuse me, is about there's like a cult, and they're kind of looking for the Messiah or a Messiah in the form of a normal human. And they do all these tests, and the opening scene is someone trying to commune with the dead. And it's just weird, like Yorgos Lanthimos things. So it's Hunter Schafer from Euphoria. So she's buck-ass naked, and she's like measuring the distance between her nipples and her belly button, right?
Triangle.
And then like, this fits, and then they try and get her to go and speak with this dead body, and then she can't, so they're like, no, you're not the one. But yeah, this like, it's just weird. Why is that a detail in that? And then when they do find the correct Messiah later on, she's unconscious, and they do it again. They like strip her off and like measure her nipple. Like, it's such a weird detail to add in about it never explains why that is anything to do with it. It's just weird. Anyway, but they have this thing where they don't drink water; they only drink tears, because tears are pure. Salty. So they have, every day they all commune around this like massive like pool, and they all like cry into the pool, mate. It's really weird. And then they like fill up their bottles in the tear pool and sod off. And yeah, I mean, all 3 stories I probably haven't touched on are quite dark. They have a lot of darkness in them. Like in this story, she gets drugged and then raped by her ex-husband. Like it's all got some dark shit going on.
It's never like a really happy, cheery theme going through any of this film.
No. But all the cast in all 3 stories are consistently good, and they all play quite well-defined characters, like noticeably different from the other 3 stories. So it's Jesse Plemons, Emma Stone, Margaret Qualley, Willem Dafoe, Hong Chow, and some other guy which I can't quite remember. Pretty sure that's everyone, but they're all in this.
Together.
Yeah, in it together with a weirdo fucking Yorgos. But yeah, it is good. It's definitely worth a watch. It was a long film, but if you wanted to just watch the first story and the third story, I would definitely recommend that. The second story, if you're in for the ride, might as well because it's right in the middle of it. But
got to get through the second bit to get to the third.
But you could just fucking fast forward if you wanted to. It's really defined because each story has its own credits.
Oh, okay.
So they don't just save credits at the end of the film. They have like their own little credit sequence. So if you did want to skip the second story, you could quite easily skip the second story.
Right.
Fair enough.
But yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10 overall. Yeah, it's decent. It's just fucking a bit odd.
Yeah.
As they are.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I like him as a director.
Watch Poor Things and then let me know what your opinion is. Because
that's the Emma Stone one as well.
Yeah.
And Mark Ruffalo.
Poor Things I really like because quintessentially what it adds to it is humour. Mark Ruffalo cracks me up so much in Poor Things, and they both do. They're both really funny because Emma Stone has good comic sensibilities from her previous roles. Yeah, Superbad, Easy A, all that kind of thing. So she embodies that really well, and it's got its dark themes. But most importantly, it is quite funny all the way through. It's quite consistently funny as well. So,
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, give it a go. It's a long one. I think it's 2.5 hours, maybe just getting on 3. But I loved Poor Things. I thought it was. I could easily rewatch that film.
Right.
It was really good. Okay. But yeah, Mark Ruffalo made it for me. They're both fantastic. But yeah, cool. Right, should we wrap up our cornbread and seal it and slice it?
We shall do.
Slice that fucking cornbread. Smells like cornbread.
Smelling some cornbread.
Thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
Listening or
watching maybe.
I'm watching. Hello.
Eyes. Yeah. Joe hasn't looked at the camera for the whole thing.
I literally haven't. I've been looking this way.
I've been looking at you guys.
Yeah.
Every time I'm camera.
But yeah, thank you guys. Check out the website. We'll probably put it with a link when we post this episode.
Yes.
Check out Google One.
Yeah, and next week we should have some. If you're listening to this, hopefully in a few days, we might be doing some Google Wanding around. You know,
streaming over there,
shaking it about.
Follow that Switch.
We will not be shaking
our wands.
That's TOS.
That's OF.
We hope you've enjoyed looking at us and listening to us.
Yeah. And you know what? If you're listening still or watching still, leave a comment with the emoji of corn and bread.
Yeah, together.
Together. In order. Cornbread.
The corn and the bread together forever.
Ever.
Okay.
Lovely. Right.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Goodbye now.
Smelling me some cornbread.